A cardiologist at Joplin's Freeman Hospital explains why getting a COVID-19 vaccine is so important for your heart health. Details are coming up.
A Joplin parking garage could get some TLC, but before that can happen, officials have to determine its structural integrity.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The total number of COVID-19 patients in Joplin hospitals exceeds 100 people. This is KOAM News at 6. Between Freeman and Mercy hospitals, there are 104 hospitalized COVID-19 patients. 19 of those hospitalizations are Joplin residents. 138 Joplin residents to date have died from COVID-19. A cardiologist at Joplin's Freeman Hospital is speaking out and warning the public as the coronavirus case count continues to rise in the 4-state area. KOAM's Mike Mahoney learns if past coronavirus restrictions could make a comeback in Joplin.
Because Missouri has probably one of the lowest vaccination rates, we have the highest incidence of the Delta variant and COVID coming back. In areas of the country where it's 80% vaccinated, there's almost no COVID. It's over.
Freeman cardiologist Dr. Robert Stauffer issued a dire plea to the unvaccinated public Wednesday, saying coronavirus vaccines are the only way for the 4-state area to truly overcome the pandemic.
This is not an East Coast thing. It's not a West Coast thing. It's not a red state versus blue state. It's not who you voted for. This is about Joplin and the 4 states area doing what is right and rising up to this crisis that we have. And it is a crisis.
Dr. Stauffer also stressed that even if you get and beat COVID-19, there could be some serious long-term health issues.
You think, well, if I get it, I can survive it. Well, you might survive it, but you might have long-lasting pulmonary damage, heart damage, and things that will change the velocity of your life.
With vaccine hesitancy being a major hurdle to overcome on the community's path towards herd immunity, the doctor also answered a question on many people's minds. Should coronavirus restrictions make a comeback?
I don't think at this point in time, but if they have a point where we're getting there, where we don't have enough hospital beds, we may be in a position where we're having trouble.
That answer is in sync with the opinions of Joplin Mayor Ryan Stanley and City Council member Christina Williams, who said during phone interviews that the city leadership is listening to advice from the 4-state medical community and believes focusing on vaccinations is a more effective route to permanently beating the coronavirus. They say as of now there are no plans to bring back pandemic restrictions and believe those who would take them most seriously are 4-staters who have already been vaccinated. In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Dr. Stauffer adds that people should not believe they're immune to COVID-19 simply because they've already had an earlier version of the virus. He says those people do not have protection against the virus's Delta variant. Doug, heady a bit warmer out there, but not bad overall.
Yeah, fairly warm, upper 80s for us today, and the humidity kind of creaking back in. So our heat index has been mainly into the mid 90s for us today, but nothing going on here. We just have some clouds. All the big time showers and thunderstorms mainly to our north across parts of Iowa and then stretching back Nebraska and northern parts of Kansas. And this is where most of the action is going to stay for us tonight. But it's this system that is heading toward us, and that's going to change our weather up by the time we work into the daytime hours tomorrow. Mid to upper 80s to near 90 across the region. You factor in the humidity, and it feels like 90 to about 95 still, even after 6 p.m. We'll drop back through the 80s, 70s. Most of us will bottom out lower 70s later on tonight. But good chances for thunderstorms working in tomorrow. We're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
See you then. Crews examine holes and cracks and exposed rebars. They inspect a Joplin parking structure that could use some TLC. The structure at 6th and Virginia hasn't had any structural work done since the 1980s. That'll change soon as construction work is set to begin. But the first steps happened today as crews used X-rays to get a good idea of the building's structural integrity.
And putting together a set of plans with a phased approach so that part of the garage will always be open for the public to use and for people needing to access to these businesses.
Again, when construction begins, which officials expect to happen during the winter, the structure will be shut down in phases so businesses can continue to use it. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has signed bills that would increase police accountability, limit the use of officer chokeholds, and, critics say, shield police while ramping up penalties for protesters. One measure puts limits on investigations of officers and provides protection against civil claims unless the officer is criminally convicted. The other bans police use of chokeholds. The governor this week also signed into law a measure that will increase Missouri's gasoline tax. It's the first tax hike in the state in 25 years. Reporter Brooke Buckner tells us more about the bill and how those paying that extra tax feel about the change.
If you just take an honest opinion of yourselves, the reason you live where you live is because of infrastructure.
The new law, made official Tuesday, will raise Missouri's gas tax, which will directly go to maintaining the state's roads, bridges, and overall transportation system.
As the Constitution of the state of Missouri says, we fund our highway systems through this process, and we all need to remember that's how we do it. And it's worked that way for many, many years. And I tell you, it's our time to make sure we continue that tradition.
Governor Parson tells me this law is different than ones voted on in the past. This time around, you can be reimbursed if you keep your gas receipts.
You have an option. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it.
This year, the tax will go up 2.5 cents. It will continue to rise 2.5 cents until 2025. Some people in the community have mixed reactions about this gas tax hike.
Well, I'd be opposed to it because I'm already feeling it at the pump now. There's been an increase since the political change parties, and I feel that if it's to improve the roads and infrastructure, that would be a good thing. However, there's already a deal in play, I believe, to improve the roads and the bridges. So I think that would just be an extra added cost for no reason.
As we live in day by day, time goes by, everything gradually goes up, wages, food, gas also. So it's expected that it will go up here and there.
I'm kind of against it due to the fact I drive a V8 and it already costs like $60 to fill up my tank now. But then again, on the other hand, there's a lot of the roads do need to be fixed and repaired, so I'm kind of torn right in the middle about it.
We hope that most of the people will understand once we can prove how we're spending the money, that we're really building the infrastructure in the state, they'll be supportive of it.
Now, if you do want to be reimbursed, you need to keep your fuel receipts and finish a one-page process through the Missouri Department of Revenue each year. Still ahead, the end of renovations at Buffalo Run Casino means it's not just a destination for adults anymore. And the future of sports could be esports, and the future of esports is at Crowder College Camp. Buffalo Run Casino is looking a little different these days. That's what a $3 million renovation will do to a business. The casino, the casino, along with the chief of the Peoria tribe, officially marked the end of the renovation today with a ribbon cutting. So what does $3.3 million buy these days? Well, a lot apparently, including a new bar with a stage, a golf simulator, and more. But Peoria's chief tells us the biggest investment comes from a supportive community.
I shared all of the different groups we saw in the house, all of the different friends we saw in the house. But my comment was we saw one community in the house. And so Buffalo Run Casino is a wonderful, wonderful facility, beautiful destination for us. And just for the Peoria tribe and all of our citizens, we're just super excited to open it today.
The casino now also features an esports lounge that's open to kids ages 13 to 17, which will interest this group of campers. They're participating in Crowder College's esports camp. Campers practice with Crowder's esports student athletes before competing in a gaming tournament. It's an opportunity for the kids to get involved early with a sport that officials say could end up being as big as other mainstream sports.
From a commerce standpoint, that's where advertisers want to be. They want to be where the most sets of eyes are. So with video games picking up more and more traction and esports becoming a more normalized, form of entertainment, it's just going to keep getting bigger.
The camp has 41 participants. When you leave your child with a babysitter, you want to trust that that child is safe, and Freeman Hospital is providing the training that can build that trust. In fact, they've been doing it for the past 25 years through the Safe Sitter class. Students learn the basics like changing a diaper. They also take part in more critical lessons in CPR and other life-saving skills.
The confidence to be great babysitters, that they remember what they've learned with CPR and choking, so that if they are put in a hard situation like that, that they are well equipped to save that child's life. And even though they may not come into a situation like that while babysitting, they may have that happen while they're in the real world.
Advanced registration is required for the Safe Sitter class with a fee of $40 for a one-day session. Later, a Missouri woman's fight with COVID. 150 days in the hospital, 130 of those on a ventilator.
Plus, thunderstorm chances increasing over the next few days. We're going to break that down for you coming up next. A little bit warmer for us today, also a little bit more humid across the region as our heat indices about 95, 96 during the afternoon hours. Our temperatures did go into the upper 80s. We've dropped back a couple notches over the past hour or two. Still 87 in Nevada. We have 89 Oswego, 89 Chanute, 88 in Nowata. Grove is sitting at 88. You factor in the humidity and still at 616, we have heat indices in about that 90 to 93 degree range. But it looks good. 7th and Rangeline currently outside, sitting at 86. South winds at about 10. It's going to stay a little breezy for us tonight into the daytime hours tomorrow. Evening planner, we're going to drop back through the 80s, 70s, and then eventually we'll bottom out at about 70 to 72 a little bit later on tonight. But nothing's going on here. Most of the big thunderstorms up to our north across parts of Iowa and then stretching back into Nebraska. And you can see this purple box. This is a tornado watch, numerous tornado warnings to our north, but it's this system that will start to affect us over the next couple days. And you can see the rain kind of trails back in the northern parts of Kansas. And a few of these storms may try to skirt our northern counties late tonight into tomorrow morning, but this system will really start to affect us by the time we head into tomorrow night. All right, let's go through time for the overnight hours tonight. I think we look okay. We will see a few scattered thunderstorms in our far northern counties really trying to pop up, but in general, most of us look pretty good as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So let's move into Thursday. Partly sunny skies. You can see our northern counties have a slight chance to get a few random thunderstorms. Most of us stay dry. Here's your day planner for you. Actually, it doesn't want to pull out, but you can see thunderstorms start to get going late afternoon. So let's go through the evening hours. Scattered thunderstorms, mainly along and north of Interstate 44, but some of these storms could be strong, maybe low-grade severe, meaning some gusty winds and some large hail. If you live south of I-44, you're probably not going to get any rain until after midnight. Let's go through the overnight hours. Big batch develops across Kansas and Oklahoma. So here's 3 a.m., but this is going to be a very heavy rainmaker as it plows south and east. So here's about 7 a.m. on Friday morning. Most of us will start to dry out a little bit, and then we'll get some pop-up afternoon thunderstorms once again by the time we head into Friday afternoon. Just some isolated thunderstorms late Friday night into Saturday morning, and then I think most of us will get another big batch of rain similar to what we're going to see tomorrow night as we go into Saturday night. So rainfall could be kind of heavy. A lot of areas could pick up 1, 2, 3, maybe upwards of 4 inches with this batch of rain, which is going to roll in by the time we head into the overnight hours tomorrow night. But our chances for rain, look at this next batch. So this is Saturday evening, drops through into Sunday morning. So we are going to have some bouts of heavy rain over the next few days. Good chances tomorrow night into Friday morning. I'm going to up the chances on Saturday and Sunday, meaning the percent chances, meaning I think we'll have higher coverage of rain Saturday night into Sunday morning. But temperatures mainly into the upper 80s over the next few days.
Those rain amounts could really add up.
Yeah,
of course,
they really could.
Days. Thanks, Doc. Still ahead, a Missouri woman fought for her life for 130 days on a ventilator. Now she's beaten COVID-19 and her family is celebrating. For more than 150 days, a Missouri mom has fought to overcome COVID-19 and the toll it's taken on her body. Emily Rittman has her story.
Well, now we do our window visits as much as possible.
They write messages and text them for 59-year-old Gwen to see from her hospital bed. Today, her grandson Kai peered through the glass.
This is my life, this window, my mom inside there.
Their new life began in February when Gwen was struggling to breathe. COVID-19 vaccines were not yet available, and several members of the family, including Gwen, got COVID after a small family gathering. Gwen went to the emergency room and hasn't come back home since. She has overcome isolation and received an ECMO treatment that pumps blood outside of your body to a heart-lung machine and then sends oxygen-filled blood back into the body. It's been a touch-and-go journey.
And then the next day was collapsed lungs or internal bleeding or kidney failure. It's like we never knew what the next day would bring. So literally up until this point, it's been up and down. And now she's struggling to lift up her arms, move her legs. She's got a trach, so she can't talk.
The family is celebrating a stretch of good days that include trials to wean Gwen off a ventilator, moving her one step closer to coming home.
I was preparing myself mentally for what life was going to be like without my mother. Now it's preparing for life with my mother. Smile.
Gwen's daughter, Valerie Mills, says her mom took care of her in 2018 when she was diagnosed with cancer. Now it's her turn.
Love you. I was sick. She took care of me and she made me fight, whereas now she's sick.
They are making plans and looking forward to the day that their once active and independent matriarch is out of the hospital.
She's going to be pretty much like on a pedestal for us. Her picking my son up and holding him. I want to just hold her and cry. That's what I want to do. And tell her how much I love her. Someone told me she'd be home by Christmas. So that's my plan. Christmas. She is a fighter, and that's how we know she's going to pull out of this.
Family says they're incredibly grateful for every nurse and doctor who helped. They say during their visits they've seen firsthand the long hours and work they put in and day out. Final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Private First Class Wallace Lands served in the U.S. Army during World War II. He was posthumously awarded a Purple Heart. Lands is from Lamar, Missouri, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Wallace Lands. He's tonight's four-state hero. Jordan Abe joins us now with a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, the chair of the Federal Reserve testified before Congress today about the economic growing pains facing the country. Also, some college students are fighting back against their university's mandatory vaccine policies. And a grandmother showing it's never too late to try on a wedding dress and give a powerful boot to racism. Then, of course, much more coming your way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Jordan, thanks. Ralph Lauren has unveiled Team USA's Olympic outfits. This year, the designer fused fashion and function. Ralph Lauren created a cooling jacket for the opening ceremony. It uses, they say, state-of-the-art technology to help regulate body temperature. That way, athletes can stay cool in the Tokyo summer heat. All of the attire was manufactured in the U.S. with sustainability in mind. Ralph Lauren has designed the official Team USA gear since 2008. A cooling jacket. I don't know exactly how that technology works, but it's something we could use in these summer days here in the four states.
Yeah, at least we haven't been seeing so many days into the 90s, but we've been dealing with the humidity over the past few days, and we're going to continue to over the next few days. Showers, thunderstorms tomorrow night into Friday morning. Another big batch looks likely Saturday night. Temperatures, though, pretty consistent.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.